evening, DMV, and welcome to tonight's segment of Mason Cable News. I'm Ariel Thornhill.
And I'm Carlia Swanson.
How's your week?
Well, I had a pretty productive week. I had a math test today. I think I passed. What about you?
I've had a great week. It's going great. This weather is crazy, though. All right, so this weekend, there was a huge science in the world. On Sunday, September 27th, there was a supermoon eclipse. At about 8:11 p.m., the moon was full in its closest point in orbit, so it appeared extremely large and bright. The supermoon was also red in appearance due to the Earth's shadow, and was nicknamed Blood Moon. The red appearance lasted for about an hour before brightening back up. The supermoon happens only 5 times a century. The last appearance was in 1982, and the next one will happen again until 2033.
Now, that wasn't the only news from space this weekend either. On Monday, NASA announced that they have found water on Mars. MCN's own Robert Horton went behind the scenes to talk with Mason's own professors and scientists to find out more.
Regarding the red planet,
Mars is not the dry, arid planet that we thought of in the past. Today we're going to announce that under certain circumstances, liquid water has been found on Mars.
so what does this mean? Mason professor Mike Summers explains.
It would be underground water, probably saturated in some sort of strata, and it's isolated from the surface because the water that seeps up to the surface freezes, and that sort of blocks everything else from going out. But in the summertime, when the surface heats up at the equator on Mars, that thaws that a little bit, so water can come out, flow downhill, and create crevices as it flows. Now, because the pressure is so low, that water evaporates very quickly, or it freezes onto the surface very quickly, and so it doesn't stay around. But for a brief amount of time, maybe a few hours, you have liquid water flowing. Mars, even though it's cold, it does have a rocky surface like the Earth, and we know that it was once a lot like the Earth's surface. We once know that there was flowing water, that there was an ocean of water on Mars, and we could probably even make it like Earth again with what we call terraforming. We could probably change Mars' climate to make it Earth-like in the future.
Mars is just one of the many missions for NASA, some of which reach out beyond our solar system.
We're getting amazing pictures back. We're learning things that are just astonishing. We're discovering whole new worlds, whole new planets, about one every 2 days. We now know of over 2,000 planets around other stars. We're finding planets that are Earth-like, so there's a lot of interest in looking for life beyond Earth.
Reporting in Fairfax, Robert Horn, Mason Cable News.
Now, were you able to see the lunar eclipse?
Unfortunately, I was not able to. I had to study for a test. So,
Yeah, and I was coming back from church.
All right, so we'll be right back after this commercial break.
WGMU Radio and WGMURadio.com. Welcome to a special edition of the first
Freddie, you will read. Jonah, it was a pleasure having you on the show today. Appreciate it.
I'm Ben Simpson on the phone today. We have Drew. How are you doing today, Drew? I mean, you're
Kind of what made you decide to write a book about them?
You know, it wasn't my idea.
You're out in Maryland, right?
I am. I used to work with George Mason people that way.
To promote the book as much as possible. We're here around campus.
Thanks, dude.
All right, have a great one.
You will read. Jonah, it was a pleasure having you on the show today. Appreciate it. You're listening to WGMU Radio on WGMURadio.com.
This past Friday on Merton Hall Lawn, the One Love Festival took place. Partnered with the Caribbean Student Association, there was free food, music, and activities for all. The purpose of the One Love Festival was to bring together different cultures and promote peace, unity, and diversity in the setting.
Now, if you aren't aware, the career fair is next week on October the 7th and 8th. It's time to prep the resumes and pull out the good suits. Freshman anchor Kira White cruised the freshman dorms asking the class of 2019 if they were resume ready. Here is Kira White with the Freshman Corner.
Welcome, Mason Patriots, to another segment of Freshman's Corner. I am your host, Kira White. The freshmen have officially settled into Mason, getting to know their classes, the way around the campus. Also, the RAs actually did a workshop with their freshman residents about the importance of having a well-written resume. I actually had the opportunity to sit with the Career Services Office and discuss with them what is the reason for freshmen to have a resume in the first place.
So resumes are pretty important to all individuals, but especially to freshmen. I would say that they're important to freshmen because it gives individuals an opportunity to let groups or leaderships or leaders in communities get to know who they are. For example, if you're trying to get involved in an organization to be an officer or maybe a member of their executive board, having a resume would give them an opportunity to see what you're involved in high school, you know, what activities are you like to involve yourself in. What skills do you acquire, including do you know how to type, how many words can you type a minute, you know, things of that nature. And that would help organizations to kind of put you in and get you somewhere and get you put in so that you can get involved and really implement yourself into the college campus, which in turn can really be resourceful when you come into your upperclassmen years, when you're looking for job opportunities, internship opportunities, or maybe just volunteer opportunities. It'll connect you with employers, it'll connect you with offices within the campus that will then help you so that when you graduate, you'll have a platform to go off of.
And guys, don't forget the career fair is actually October 7th and October 8th from 11 to 4. It's a great opportunity for you to meet with employers about possible internships, opportunities, and show off your resume that you just made. And that is it for this segment of Freshman's Corner. Please tune in next time. We'll be taking a trip to the Global Center and interviewing some freshmen about their experience in the global living and learning communities. See you next time.
Electronic cigarettes. They look like real cigarettes, produce smoke like real cigarettes, but are they as deadly as real cigarettes? An electronic cigarette is a battery-operated vaporizer that makes one feel like they're smoking a real cigarette. Instead of producing real smoke, though, the electronic cigarette makes a vapor. Also inside these electronic cigarettes is a liquid component, more commonly known as e-liquid. Many ingredients can range in these e-liquids, some being glycerin, water, nicotine, and flavorings. While in recent years actual cigarette smokers have declined, according to the CDC, the number of electronic cigarette smokers have been on the rise. This is especially seen in young people. With high school students, uses increased from 2013 to 2014 from 66,000 to 2 million. With middle school students, usage has tripled from 1.1% to 3.9% over the year. What are the dangers, though? Can electronic cigarettes cause the same damage as regular cigarettes? According to the Science magazine, electronic cigarettes do not cause the same, if not more, damage to the human body. The magazine claims to say research has found that using e-cigarettes may even make bacterial infections resistant to antibiotics. Also, electronic cigarettes are not regulated by the FDA for recreational use.
Religious yellers. We've all seen them, we've all heard them. Sometimes they're alone, sometimes they're in numbers, and sometimes they come with visual aids. However, their goal is generally the same. They fill North Plaza with hopes of shedding light on their religion. They want to reach us, they want to help us, and they want to save us. Although some may see their intentions as good, their tactics can be quite aggressive and generally leave us wondering, does it really work? Have these loud speeches and disturbing imagery ever led someone to follow their ways? Or do their efforts to steer us down a certain path actually end up pushing us the opposite way? The Higher Education Research Institute at UCLA conducted a study regarding students and religion and found that students' affiliation with religion has actually hit an all-time low. This could be due to a multitude of factors, but begs the question, are religious yellers actually pushing students away? When we come back, we will see what's happening in the sports and entertainment world. Stay tuned. You are watching Mason Cable News on channel 61.1.
To a special edition of the first
Freddie, you will
pick.
read. Jonah, it was a pleasure having you on the show today. Appreciate it.
I'm Ben Simpson
thanks
on
for
the phone today. We have Drew.
How are you doing
Gary.
today, Drew? I mean,
Your baseball.
Kind of what made you decide to write a book about them?
You know, it wasn't my...
You're out in Maryland, right?
I am. I used to work with George Mason people that way.
Promote the book as much as possible. We're here around campus.
Thanks, dude.
All right, have a great one.
You will read. Jonah, it was a pleasure having you on the show today. Appreciate it. You're listening to WGMU Radio on WGMUradio.com.
Professors and staff members say that they cannot teach in horrible environments that they are given. If teachers cannot teach, that means students cannot learn. They are encouraging students and staff that are in agreement with this petition to electronically sign it on the SEI's union's website. Now we are going to go to the sports desk with Sydney Peterson.
Hello and welcome to your Mason Sports Report. I'm your host, Sydney Peterson. Tomorrow the women's soccer team opens the Atlantic 10 Conference playing against St. Bonaventure. This will be the second time in program history, as well as the first in regular season action. The game will take place at 7 p.m. at the Mara Athletic Complex in St. Bonaventure, New York. Unfortunately, the men's soccer team fell to UMBC earlier this week with a final score of 2-0. However, the team's season is not over. They will open the Atlantic 10 Conference play as well. The game will be against VCU this Saturday at 7 p.m. This is considered the game of the week as well as the men's soccer alumni weekend. The men's tennis team competed in the Navy Invitation in Annapolis this past weekend, finishing well with a final score of 32-17 record of both in singles and doubles combined. Next, the team will host the Mason Invitational here in Fairfax. The women's tennis team also had a successful week as they won in their first annual Loyola Invitational. The Fed Cup format was used in the tournament, meaning that 16 teams of 2 playing 1 double and 2 singles. Each match was worth 1 point. The team left with holding 4 out of the top 7 spots. The team will compete their final tournament of the fall season on October 9th through 11th at the Naval Academy. Well, that's all I have for you today, Mason. But up next, here is Najina Jerome with your infotainment news.
Hey Mason Nation, welcome back with me, Gina Jerome, on the couch. And guess what? It's hump day. Well, I truly hope classes are going well for you this week, and if not, there are only 3 more days till Saturday. Hey. Well, I'm so happy to be back on the couch and to be your source for entertainment news nationally as well as in the DMV area. So, kicking off our very first entertainment news story, on Saturday, October 3rd, Strike Off will be coming to the Eagle Bank Arena, formerly the Patriots Center, located right here on our Fairfax campus. Strike Off is a professional mixed martial arts organization serving DC, Maryland, and Northern Virginia. Their mission is to provide a great show for fans and the opportunity for local fighters to just fight. In 2014, they were voted Best Pro MMA Show in Virginia. Hey, I mean, I've already bought my ticket, and honestly, what girl missed out the opportunity to see all these guys just sweating and all hot and bothered? I mean, come on. Plus, the show will have UFC and Bellator veterans, world-ranked MMA fighters, all in one place at Eagle Bank Arena. The show will start at 7 p.m., but pick the best seats before they are gone. So if you want to purchase tickets, please go to strikeoff.com or ticketmaster.com. And clear your evening, ladies, because Mark Anthony and Carlos Vives are also coming to the Eagle Bank Arena on Sunday, October 11th, the day before Columbus Day, as part of their Unidos tour for 2015. The show begins at 7 p.m. and everyone ages 2 and older must have a ticket. Mark Anthony is just going to dazzle the crowd with his awesome voice, singing his amazing hits, including my personal favorite, Vivir Mi Vida. Like I said, there is a $2 charity fee per ticket, and it goes to Maestro Cares Foundation. So if you're interested in purchasing tickets, please go to Ticketmaster.com for more information and for prices. And in television news, John Stamos is returning full-time to TV with Fox's Grandfathered, in which the Full House alum plays a somewhat parodied version of himself as a 50-something ladies' man. The big difference? His character finds out he's a father, and then a grandfather. Well, the show premiered September 29th, and it sure did not disappoint. I hope you tune in every Tuesday, because I sure will be. This Saturday, October 3rd, Virginia Opera season begins with Offenbach's rollicking and irreverent operetta, which is basically a romp through heaven and hell, which spins one of the most famous ancient Greek tragedies into a witty satire. Like I said before, Orpheus was considered quite scandalous by Parisian high society when it first premiered in 1858, but its magnificent melodies, its risque humor, and its lively inferno gallop with spirited tunes just launched this French dancehall craze known as the can-can. It would also be in English, but with English subtitles. So the performances will be Saturday, October 3rd at 8 p.m. and Sunday, October 4th at 2 p.m. Also, there will be a pre-performance discussion with members of the cast before each show. Tickets are selling out super fast, so run and get them while they're hot. Tickets for certain sections range from $98 to $80 to $48. But remember, like I always say, one free student ticket is available with a valid Mason ID. Last but not least, in Celebrity Land, actress Kim Fields, best known for her role as Tootie in the beloved 80s TV series Facts of Life, has joined the cast of Bravo's Real Housewives of Atlanta. You might also recognize her as Regine from the popular 90s show Living Single. The Real Housewives of Atlanta premieres for its 8th season on Bravo on November 8th. I know so many of us won't be able to contain our excitement to watch all the crazy antics that are definitely going to go down. Well, Mason Nation, that's all the entertainment news I have for you right now. I hope you have the great rest of the week, and I'm Gina Jerome with you on the couch. See you next week, Mason.
First Lady Michelle Obama launched a new campaign via social media. She calls it 62 Million Girls. This campaign is to promote education values for young girls. She wants women everywhere to post a childhood picture of themselves on any social media site saying what you learned as a child in school using the hashtag 62 Million Girls. You know, being a female, I feel this is super important because a lot of young women, don't get an education, and I feel super blessed that I get to get an education.
Yeah, and I think that some girls don't have a positive role model. So if someone such as the First Lady doing this, I feel that it'd be very encouraging.
No, I totally agree. I think it's a great way to do it through social media for everyone to know about this situation.
That's it for tonight's news. We thank you for joining us on tonight. Be sure to follow us on Facebook and Twitter at Mason Cable News and subscribe to us on YouTube at Mason Cable Network to catch all of our daily updates and to watch previous shows. Stay tuned for more Noticiero GMU, where Ismore Ventura will bring you our top 5 stories in Spanish. For MC News, I am Carlia Swanson.
I'm Ariel Thornhill.
And I'm Sydney Peterson. Have a great night, Mason.
Hoy es miércoles 30 de septiembre del 2015. Hola, ¿qué tal? Bienvenidos a Noticiero GMU. Les saluda Ismar Ventura. Comenzamos con la encuesta que está circulando en la universidad llamada Beacon. La encuesta Beacon está diseñada para ayudarle a usted a aprender más acerca de sus fortalezas y de los factores que contribuirán a su éxito aquí en la universidad. Al completar esta encuesta, usted tendrá la oportunidad de ganar aparcamiento gratuito, equipo de Mason o uno de los muchos premios grandes de tecnología, tales, es decir, Fitbits, articuladores, altavoces, pulseras USB. Esta encuesta debe tomar menos de 15 minutos en completarse. Una vez que ya haya completado la encuesta, se generará un informe personalizado. Traiga este informe impreso o en su ordenador portátil o teléfono inteligente y su ID de Mason al Johnson Center en el kiosco F de lunes a viernes de 11 de la mañana a 2 de la tarde para obtener su camisa estudiantil gratuitamente de su año escolar. Esto es, hasta agotar las existencias de las camisetas. Si tiene alguna pregunta o desea obtener más información, envíe un correo electrónico a besurvey@gmu.edu. Y ayer, en el Águila Bank Arena, Ernest Gaines, autor del libro Una lección antes de morir, vino a la universidad a compartir sobre su libro y responder preguntas de los estudiantes. Mason Rees fue lanzado en el 2012 por la División de Orientación de la Vida Universitaria y Programas y Servicios de la Familia para proporcionar una experiencia de lectura común todo en los campus, usando un alcance más concentrado, más amplio para el otoño de este 2015. Su enfoque es el poderoso libro de Gaines, Una lección antes de morir. Emily Dubert, directora asociada interna de Fuera del Campus Programa y Servicios al Estudiante y copresidente del Comité Común Lee, subraya que Común Lee es algo más que una experiencia literaria. Cuando los estudiantes ven el libro utilizado por el campus en clases, ella dice, refuerza sus temas y crea un sentido de comunidad en todo el libro. Nos esforzamos para que los estudiantes se sientan un mayor sentido de pertinencia y conexión en sus compañeros, personal y profesores, dice Dubert. Y en otras noticias, cada año los estadounidenses observan el mes nacional de la hispanidad, del 15 de septiembre al 15 de octubre, con la celebración de las historias, culturas y contribuciones de quienes antepasados vinieron de España, México y el Caribe y América Central y del Sur. El tema de este año es Mi Gente, siguiente tema de ODAI, la Departamento de Cultural de la Universidad Poblaciones Indígenas del Mundo. Y ahora terminamos con una historia que cambia la imagen de la raza humana. NASA confirma que del hallazgo de agua líquida en el planeta Marte. La NASA ha confirmado la existencia de corrientes de agua líquida, lo que alimentó la posibilidad de vida en el planeta rojo. Hoy estamos revolucionando nuestra comprensión del planeta, dijo Jim Green, director de Ciencia Planetaria de la NASA en Washington, D.C., durante una conferencia de prensa el día de ayer. Marte no es el planeta seco, árido que pensamos en el pasado. En ciertas circunstancias, el agua líquida ha encontrado en Marte. Chris Carberry, director ejecutivo de Explora Marte, una organización sin ánimo de lucro que tiene como objetivo avanzar en la meta de enviar humanos a Marte en los próximos 2 décadas, dio la bienvenida al anuncio de NASA el día lunes. Hemos estado especulando acerca si hay agua líquida en Marte desde algún tiempo, pero ahora que se ha confirmado podría tener algunas implicaciones significativas, dijo foxnews.com. En primer lugar, se mejora una gran medida las posibilidades de vida pasada y presente en Marte. En todas partes hay agua líquida. ¿Es cierto en Marte? No lo sé. Carberry añadió que el agua en Marte también podría beneficiar a los futuros exploradores. Si se puede acceder al agua, que se sumará de manera significativa a sostenibilidad de la presencia humana en Marte, dijo. Así nos despedimos esta semana, patrióticos. Los esperamos la siguiente semana. Gracias por acompañarnos. Para Noticiero GMU, reportó Ismar Ventura. Hasta la próxima, George Mason.